Well, let's see if that works. Maybe. It does work. Look at that. What a beautiful day. Easy enough. Oh, God. David. Just got done feeding and taking care of cows. Hay delivery this evening. Sipping on hot tea to warm up. Ready to learn. Love each one of you geniuses. David. Oh, David. The man. The reliable man of David. We are reading the book of Giants. We're at 57-ish. If you're watching this later, we have Discord. There's a link to the Discord pinned to the top of the live chat. There's a link to the Discord in the description of the video. Discord is free and will always be free. It is a great place if you want to have your beliefs and thoughts challenged in a horrific, but I suppose beautiful way. I think I have exterminated dozens of beetles over the past week. So I'm hoping the population has decreased. And I will not be shooing them away for the rest of the night. We'll see. We will see. So let's see. Oh man, my mind's all tangled up. Join Discord. There's a link, like I said, everywhere. In Discord, the only thing, or not the only thing, one of the only things besides the super intelligent people that is nice about it is the events page, because we use two different YouTube channels to do all this stuff. At Live Bible Study and at Tattooed Theist. 3 most week Bible studies on the At Live Bible Study page, from canonical to non-canonical to straight up Apocrypha. So two heretical studies, I guess, and 1 non-heretical study. I never really thought about that, but it kind of fits who we are. And then every Tuesday we do a topic discussion based on usually a poll. Whatever wins the poll is what we talk about. That is on at Tattooed Theist. Last week we did reincarnation, or this week, I guess, reincarnation. The week before, Christians coping with mental health issues, which was really interesting, actually. And I was very nervous about, but it went really well. The gospel before that, we did Marcion, we've done Gnosticism, all that fun stuff. But Discord is the place to be. Adam Magus. Magus? Magus. It's probably Magus. What's up, Adam? Sounds cozy. It does sound cozy. Sounds like a nice day. Ruth. Such a wintry day today. Did you guys get blasted with snow? We sure did. I shoveled last night and it was not worth the time. The salt was, I guess. Good God. Okay. Book of Giants. I think we left off right at this author's note. So the author's note said, the names of certain countries help set the date of the manuscript. Scholars believe, based on the name of the countries mentioned in Enoch, that the book could not have been written prior to 250 BC, since some countries did not exist prior to that date. One could add that the particular part of Enoch, yeah, they always make me second guess, but these are just not well edited. One could add that the particular part of Enoch is the only section dated, since the book consists of several disjointed parts. And then it continues on. We're going to get blasted this weekend. That's what they said. We were going to get like 8 inches of snow. Ooh, yesterday. And we got like 2-3 inches of snow. I have such distrust for the weather people. I feel like they do nothing but consistently let you down. Unfortunately. There we go. That works. But we'll see. I like snow, so I'm game for the snow. Beautiful. Thank you, baby. Now this is Enoch again. And they shall go up and trample the lands of my elect ones, and the land of his elect ones shall be before them a threshing floor. And then he's got a note here. It says, trampled, barren ground, and a highway. But the city of my righteous ones shall be a hindrance to their horses, and they shall begin to fight among themselves. And their own right hand shall be strong against themselves. And a man shall not know his brother, nor a son his father, or a mother, or his mother, until there would be innumerable corpses because of their slaughter, and their punishment shall not be in vain. In those days, hell, Sheol, shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up. Their destruction shall be final. Hell, or Sheol, shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect. And now I'm starting to remember why we were talking about doing hell on a Tuesday coming up. This is sparking some remembrance from me. They've got Revelation 21, which says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That poses questions as well. Enoch again. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of chariots and men riding on them. They were coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. The noise of their chariots was heard. And when the turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven watched it. And the pillars of the earth were shaken and moved. And the sound of it was heard from the one end of heaven to the other in one day. And all shall fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. This is the end of the second parable. Chapter 58. And I began to speak the third parable concerning the righteous and elect. Blessed are you, you righteous and elect, for glorious shall be your lot. And the righteous shall be in the light of the sun, and the elect will be in the light of eternal life. The days of their life shall be unending, and the days of the holy will be without number. And they shall seek the light and find righteousness with the Lord of spirits. Peace to the righteous in the name of the eternal Lord. Good old tenacious. I still have issues. He says, that there was no written down prophecy of Enoch on Noah's Ark, like Enoch on the ark. A rider of the vessel. Is that what you mean? And the righteous shall be in the light of the sun. We already read that. And they shall seek the light and find righteousness with the Lord of spirits. Peace to the righteous in the name of the eternal Lord. And after this, it shall be said to the holy in heaven that they should seek secrets of righteousness and the destiny of faith. For it has become bright as the sun on earth, and the darkness is passed away. And there shall be a light that never ends, and to a number of days they shall not come. For the darkness shall first have been destroyed, and the light established before the Lord of spirits, and the light of righteousness established forever before the Lord of spirits. In those days, my eyes saw the secrets of the lightning and of the lights, and they judge and execute their judgment, and they illuminate for a blessing or a curse as the Lord of spirits wills. And there I saw the secrets of the thunder, and how when it resounds above in heaven, the sound thereof is heard. And he caused me to see the judgments executed on earth, whether they are for well-being, blessing, or for a curse according to the word of the Lord of spirits. Go said, I don't think any serious scholar claims that First Enoch was written down pre-flood. I have definitely not that I remember, I guess. I don't recall ever hearing that. 59. Okay. Noah's vision. Here you go, Leon. It's your time. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month, in the life of Enoch. In that parable, I saw how a mighty quaking made the heaven of heavens to quake, and the host of the Most High, and the angels, 1,000 thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000, were disquieted with great foreboding. And the head of days sat on the throne of his glory, and the angels and the righteous stood around him. And a great trembling seized me, and fear took hold of me, and my legs gave way. And I melted with weakness and fell on my face. And Michael sent another angel from among the holy ones, and he raised me up. And when he had raised me up, my spirit returned. For I had not been able to endure the look of this host, and the disturbance and the shaking of heaven. And Michael said to me, why are you upset with such a vision? Until this day, his mercy and long suffering has lasted towards those who dwell on the earth. Michael. The Humbaba tales. I like that. I like that. That would be the heretical response to the Veggie Tales. Somebody needs to make the Humbaba Tales. This is a business venture idea. $1 million idea. Michael is a genius. And when the day and the power and the punishment and the judgment come, which the Lord of spirits hath prepared for those who worship not the righteous law, and for those who deny the righteous judgment, for those who take his name in vain, that day is prepared. It will be a covenant for the elect, but for sinners, an inquisition. When the punishment of the Lord of spirits shall rest on them, it will not come in vain, and it shall slay the children with their mother, and the children with their fathers. And on that day, 2 monsters were separated from one another, a female monster named Leviathan, to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of the water. For all the flat earth firmament, you get the underground fountains. Such a wild deep dive. We got to do flat earth again soon. Go said it was written down around 300 BC from an oral tradition. At least that's my understanding. I think it's as good as it gets. There's so much disagreement on all that with Enoch. I think that's as good of an answer as any of them. His written prophecy, Tenacious said, which people believe what you are reading now. Technology was established in Genesis 2:1 to create records. Say more. Say more. Does this have to do with like the God, Cat would know what it's called. God, there's a name for it. The ancient technology that's uncovered having to do with Atlantis. I feel like there's a name for that period, or perhaps the study of it. I don't remember. What people believe is often wrong. That could not possibly be more true. We are the wrong crowd. And the male is named Behemoth, who occupied with his breast a wasted wilderness named Duodain, on the east of the garden where the elect and righteous dwell, where my great-grandfather was taken up, the 7th from Adam, the first man whom the Lord of spirits created. And I asked the other angel to show me the might of those monsters, how they were separated on one day and thrown, the one into the abyss of the sea, and the other to the earth's desert. And he said to me, Son of man, you wish to know what is kept secret. And the other angel who went with me and showed me what was kept secret told me, what is first and last in heaven in the sky, and beneath the earth in the depth, and at the ends of heaven, and on the foundation of heaven, and the storehouse of the winds, and how the winds are divided, and how they are weighted, and how the doors of the winds are calculated, for each according to the power of the wind, and the power of the lights of the moon according to the power that is fitting, and the divisions of the stars according to their names, and how all divisions are divided, and the thunder according to the places where they fall, and all the divisions that are made among the lightning, that it may light, and their host, that they may at once obey. For the thunder has place of rest, which are assigned while it is waiting for its peal. And the thunder and lightning are inseparable, and although not one and undivided, they both go together in spirit and are not separate. For when the lightning flashes, the thunder utters its voice, and the spirit enforces a pause during the peal, and divides equally between them. For the treasury of their peals is like the sand of an hourglass. And each one of them, as it peals, is held in with a bridle, and turned back by the power of the Spirit, and pushed forward according to the many parts of the earth. And the spirit of the sea is masculine and strong, and according to the might of his strength, he draws it back with a rein. And in like manner, it is driven forward and disperses in the midst of all the mountains of the earth. And the spirit of the hoarfrost is his own angel. And the spirit of the hail is a good angel. And the spirit of the snow has forsaken his storehouse because of his strength. There is a special spirit here. That which ascends from it is like smoke, and its name is frost. And the spirit of the mist is not united with them in their storehouse, but it has a special storehouse. For its course is glorious both in light and in darkness, and in winter and in summer. And in its storehouse is an angel. The divine council, Adam said. It was Jesus and the Elohim, the divine council. What is all that? Oh my God. Kat said LiDAR scanning. It maps the ground and can see structures, earthworks, and other archaeological things. My father, Graham Hancock, taught me about that. Yeah, but didn't they give a name to the concept of like ancient technology? This idea that like Atlantis was this highly evolved technological society that was creating, like, because I saw something where they were pulling things from what they thought was Atlantis, from deep in. Yes.
Are you talking about Antiquitech?
Maybe.
Is that the word? That's the word they use a lot.
Maybe. I just know I've watched some things where they've pulled items, right, like pottery or whatever, and they go over and I don't have any idea. They could be totally lying, but it sounds real. Where they go over kind of the technicality of why there's no way with how we perceive those societies to have been advancement wise. There's no way they could have created it because of the mathematical perfection of it. Things like that. Would that fall into that name? That type of stuff?
Yeah, they just say like, technology from before the flood. That's the
okay
blanket term they use.
Do you know, so Atlantis, that would be pretty far after the flood, no? Or is this a mud flood thing?
No, I think Atlantis came before the flood.
Do you? Okay, that's interesting. This is something I've
Before
never
and
spent
after.
time on it. Wait.
It's a before and after thing where it's like there's York and then there's New York, Like they had the memory of the great civilization that came before, and then they tried to rebuild it and they called it Babylon or whatever. But it was based on the model of that initial great empire.
That's interesting. I've never heard that. Is this something worth spending time on? I've never gone down this path.
I mean, it depends on like how crazy you want to be.
I mean, pretty crazy. I'll look into it. I mean, that's it. So the Atlantis that everybody kind of thinks of, you think was pre-flood, and then they tried to rise it back up post-flood.
I personally think so. I think Atlantis was filled with Nephilim and mighty men, etc. And I think it spanned, I don't know if it spanned the globe, but it did span a pretty big area. So, and I think the headquarters was in Mauritania, Africa. So there's a lot of things about it, but like you're just going to be going down rabbit holes and you might never come out with anything solid.
I mean, that's the name of the game, though. Feel like that's everything. Leon said, yeah, 100% before the flood. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think the whole Tower of Babel thing was them trying to kind of recreate what they had in Atlantis based on the stories that were passed down by Shem and Ham and Noah and etc. and the three wives.
Really? I'm so ignorant to this. All right, well, if
because they had stories.
I'm sure. Like, I'm sure as I go through it, like dots will connect. I've never spent any time. If you have anything that's really good, or anybody else, in terms of information on all this stuff, I would love to get that from you. This is something I'd like to spend some time on for sure.
Cool. Manly P. Hall has written about it, and there's a bunch of other people, but I like his takes on it.
Okay.
Mine are a little different, but
yeah, of course,
it's a good launch point.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll look at it. David said Atlantis was ground zero for the fat Earth. I hope that was an intentional typo. Atlantis ground zero for the flat Earth. Is that a thing? Is that? I'm so out of this side of everything, but I find it very interesting. Cat would know. Cat's a flat earther. Not to throw you under the bus, sweet beautiful girl. That's interesting though. I guess that would make sense with the other theories I've heard, but this is something I need to spend some time on. Geoffrey said, yeah, it's the unknown knowledge that the fallen angels taught humanity. So is that kind of the, I guess that makes sense. So the idea extremely broadly is that the Nephilim were there, and Enoch kind of encompasses at least some of that period where they brought, the fallen angels brought that technology that's talked about in Enoch, and then it gets wiped out. I can see some of this connecting, but my brain's not grasping the rest, but I'm sure that's just because I haven't heard it all put together. I see the pieces though. I see the pieces. I will dedicate some time to this. I find it very interesting. I've just never really cared.
And regardless of what it's called, like whether we call it Atlantis or whatever, there had to have been some type of organized civilization before the flood. And I think that's just what Plato was talking about, I think, but there's no way to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that in a general sense, for sure. And the pieces make sense. I've just never really sat and like tried to put them together, but I could definitely see it. It's interesting.
I could send you something about like the Eye of the Sahara. That's what I think the capital of Atlantis was.
I think that's one of the only things I've ever seen a little bit about. And I always say the wrong guy, but I want to say Benny Johnson, and that's not who it is. Maybe it's somebody who looks like him. But I think he was on Joe Rogan, and maybe that's where I heard it, like years ago, where they showed pictures of it, and you could kind of see. I don't know, but yeah, whatever you got.
Corsetti.
Is that who that was?
I'm blanking on his first name right now, but yeah, that's him.
Okay.
But there's an interesting. I don't want to sidetrack. There's an interesting portion of the Atlas Mountains, and Atlas being the guy who founded Atlantis, and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I mean, maybe I can find that and send it to you.
Yeah, whatever. I'll take it. Jimmy.
The Atlas Mountains are in. Jimmy. Yeah, I knew it was a J.
Yeah. Okay, that is who it was. Okay, yeah. Whatever any of you guys got, like throw it in Discord and tag me with it. I'm curious.
Cool.
Collect the pieces, ask the questions, and keep collecting, and we'll come together slowly. So says Tampa. That's what I thought about the Bible too. And 15 years later, I just haven't found that to be true. But I get what you're saying, and I agree. I don't know. I'm just such a cynic. That's all it really is. Actually, if I'm being honest, I'm just a cynical person. But I'm very piqued, interest-wise, with this now. Because some of these pieces, they make sense. But I'm definitely lacking the bigger picture. So I'd be very curious to see that. Mud flood is recent history. Is it? When was the mud flood? Like, what was the span of that theory, Kat? Because I have no idea. I listened to like one thing on that too. So I'm very ignorant to that whole thing too. It seemed kind of compelling, but I never like looked into it any deeper. So I have no idea. But it's interesting stuff. It's very interesting stuff. All right. And the spirit of the dew has its dwelling at the ends of heaven and is connected with the storehouse of the rain. And its course is in winter and summer. And its clouds and the clouds of the mist are connected. And the one gives to the other. And when the spirit of the rain goes out from its storehouse, the angels come and open the storehouse and lead it out. And when it is diffused over the whole earth, it unites with the water on the earth. And whenever it unites with the water on the earth, and they have a note, for the waters are for those who live on the earth. They are, or become, nourishment for the earth from the Most High, who is in heaven. Therefore, there is a measurement for the rain, and the angels are in charge of it. And these things I saw towards the garden of the righteous. And the angel of peace who was with me said to me, these two monsters prepared in accordance with the greatness of the Lord, will feed them the punishment of the Lord. And the children will be taken out with their mothers, and sons with their fathers. Then he's got Job 3:8, which we recently read. May those who curse days curse that day, those who are ready to rouse Leviathan. Then Isaiah 27:1, in that day, the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great, and powerful sword, Leviathan, the gliding serpent, Leviathan, the coiling serpent. He will slay the monster of the sea. Geoffrey said Billy Carson talks about all of the fallen angel society and collection of religions, but he doesn't understand its origin was the fallen angels. Yeah, Billy Carson, I think, has lost all credibility. But here's the thing. The other guy is not perfect either. I guess I'd just say that. Just be careful ever trusting one person with anything ever. And certainly just aggregate data. That's all I have to say. Chapter 61. And I saw in those days that long cords were given to those angels, and they took to themselves wings and flew, and they went towards the north. I asked the angel, saying to him, why have those angels who have cords taken flight? And he said to me, they have gone to take measurements. And then there is an author's note here. And the author's note says, there were no tape measures in those days. Measurements were taken by a simple rope or stick. The rope may have knots placed in it. Usual measurements were based on a man's forearm, the length of an arm, or the span of the arms. In this case, the measurements based on those of the Lord or his appointed angel, encoded secret knowledge. And the angel who went with me said to me, these shall bring the measurements of the righteous and the cords of the righteous to the righteous, that they may rely on the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. The elect shall begin to dwell with the elect, and those who are the measurements, which shall be given to the faith, which shall be given to faith, and which shall strengthen righteousness. And these measurements shall reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth, and those who have been destroyed by the desert, and those who have been devoured by the beasts, and those who have been devoured by the fish of the sea, that they may return. Yes.
I find it helpful to replace measurement with pattern, because I think that's what it actually means.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me. I don't like, was it his note or before that? Yeah, it was the note. I don't like that either, because I think this like literal interpretation is poor. It doesn't quite make sense to me. That would make a lot more sense to me, for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on. That would make a lot more sense to me. Thank you, Shilly Carson. Yeah, aggregation. David, I learned to use aggregation from Joe. Yes, but aggregate. Just definitely don't listen to me. Definitely don't listen to me. But any of these biblical scholars, just aggregate. That's the only way to go. But you will be completely left in floating in midair all the time, because there's just no cohesiveness among the smartest people on the planet, which is really disappointing, because it means there is never any clarity. You got to do it yourself, unfortunately. That they so devour the beast, the desert, the fish of the sea, that they may return and rely on the day of the elect one. For none shall be destroyed before the Lord of spirits, and none can be destroyed. And all who dwell in heaven receive a command and power and one voice and one light, like to fire. And they blessed him with their first words and exalted and praised him with their wisdom. And they were wise in utterance and in the spirit of life. And the Lord of spirits placed the elect one on the throne of glory. There it is as a specific individual again. The Lord of spirits placed the elect one, single individual, on the throne of glory. And he shall judge all the works of the holy above in heaven. And in the balance their deeds shall be weighed. 2 Timothy 4:1 says, I charge you therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. And then Enoch again says, and when he shall lift up his face to judge their secret ways, according to the word of the name of the Lord of spirits, and their path according to the way of the righteous judgment of the Lord of spirits, then they shall all speak with one voice and bless and glorify and exalt the name of the Lord of spirits. And he will summon all the host of heaven and all the holy ones above, and the host of God, and the cherubim, and the seraphim, and the ophanium, and all the angels of power, and all the angels of principalities. And he's got an insertion here that says angels that rule over other angels, and the elect one, and the other powers on the earth and over the water. On that day shall raise one voice, and bless and glorify and exalt in the spirit of faith, and in the spirit of wisdom, and in the spirit of patience, and in the spirit of mercy, and in the spirit of judgment and of peace, and in the spirit of goodness, and shall all say with one voice, Blessed is he, and may the name of the Lord of spirits be blessed forever and ever. All who do not sleep above in heaven shall bless him. All the holy ones who are in heaven shall bless him. All the elect who dwell in the garden of life, and every spirit who is able to bless and glorify and exalt and praise your blessed name. And to the extent of its ability, all flesh shall glorify and bless your name forever and ever. For great is the mercy of the Lord of spirits. He is long-suffering, and all his works and all he has created, he has revealed to the righteous and elect in the name of the Lord of spirits. Numbers 14:18 says, the Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Chapter 62. Oh, graves. So can we say that hell might be under the sea? Ghosts, all that's going off my head is the Little Mermaid song. Under the sea. Ghost responded to that and said, on one level, it's definitely under the sea. The core is far under the sea. And then a crab emoji. Yeah, I don't know what I think about that. Ghost theory, I think, is an interesting theory. I don't have an opinion about it, to be honest. At least not an intelligently developed one. Chapter 62. Thus the Lord commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who dwell on the earth, and said, open your eyes and lift up your horns if you are able to recognize the elect one. Psalm 24:7. Cat, I swear to God, if I have to read more Psalm than we already do, I might not make it. Psalm 24:7 says, lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lift up your everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. And the Lord of spirits, back in Enoch, and the Lord of spirits seated him on the throne of his glory, and the spirit of righteousness was poured out on him. And the word of his mouth slays all the sinners, and all the unrighteous are destroyed from in front of his face. Revelation 19:15 says, and out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And he has on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I believe, fun fact, if I'm remembering this right, fun fact, isn't it only in Revelation where we have the Lord of Lords as a title for Jesus?
I don't know, Joe, but that sounds like a tattoo to me. He has something written on him?
Yeah, I went through all that, and I'll send you. I did like a short on that once, because that's what everybody says. I'm not convinced, but it definitely seems plausible. But I'll send you the little thing I did about it, because
I mean, it's funny. I don't know if it's like literal or not.
it could be. I don't know. I think I could exegete the hell out of it, which I did, and destroy that. But also, like, on its face, it very well could be. So if you don't try to tear it apart, like, it sure does kind of sound like it. The argument is that, like, based on what they wore, it would make sense that like a family tag would go there, which wasn't an uncommon thing. So the culture of the time of this, it wasn't uncommon for them to have like their family's symbol on their robe in such a place that would lie kind of over your thigh. That's how it's explained away, at least. But
some kind of coat of arms or just any kind of signal or symbol.
right. But the badass interpretation is definitely that Jesus is blasted with ink. Yeah. And wouldn't that be very interesting? So Lord of Lords, I believe I remembered correctly, and it's only in Revelation. I'm getting Revelation 17 and Revelation 19, where we have Lord of Lords and King of Kings in 17, and then King of Kings and Lord of Lords in 19. And that's it. Some translations, it looks like, has a mention of it in 1 Timothy, which was pretty late. But that's it. Other than, the Old Testament. David put Revelation 20:13, and the sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged, each one of them, according to what they had done. Yes, that verse drives me crazy. I think I complained about it, because this book has had it in it. What we're reading had it, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I had a very minor mental breakdown over that verse. Because I deeply interpret it, and I think I overcomplicate it. I'm pretty sure that's where we got. I'm pretty sure that was one of the ledgers that Ghost talked me off of. Geoffrey said, it says King of Kings, Lord of Lords on his garment, but what humans will see is the God of gods. I'm with you on the first part. What do you explain more about the second part? Ghost said, just like the law being written on our hearts, it isn't literal either. Gotta love metaphors. Yeah, I think it's the most fair interpretation is that, yeah, it's going to be on the garment. Like that makes sense culturally, for sure. But I mean, modern Christians are going to do what they're going to do. The more badass they can interpret something is just kind of, that's their MO, it seems like. It would be cool, though. Hard to deny that. Be pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd like it particularly, but it's probably just because of my personal regrets. Back in Enoch. And in that day, all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who hold the earth shall stand up and shall see and recognize that he sits on the throne of his glory, and that righteousness is judged before him, and no lying word is spoken before him. Then pain will come on them as a woman in labor, and she has pain in giving birth when her child enters the mouth of the womb, and she has pain in childbirth. It's a very interesting way to describe that. Micah 4:10, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shall you go forth out of the city, and you shall dwell in the field, and you shall go even to Babylon. There you will be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem you from the hand of your enemies. Hey, what? Interesting. In reference to Revelation 20:13, Ghost said, I see that as meaning, quote, no matter where or how we die, we will end up at the judgment seat. Kat and I were just reading something, I think out of the Gospels, about that's in reference to the judgment seat. It's interesting stuff. And the portion of them shall look at the other, and they shall be terrified. And they shall look downcast, and pain shall seize them. When they see that the Son of Man sitting on the throne, when they see that Son of Man sitting on the throne of his glory. Matthew 25:31 says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Geoffrey said, you guys need to remember who wrote this and where he was. He was secluded on an island after he was boiled alive in front of a Roman Colosseum and survived. His beloved John didn't die a martyr. And survived his beloved John didn't die a martyr. Are you confident about authorship, Geoffrey? I'd be curious as to like what level of confidence you have with that, with the who and the what we know about. I'd be curious, and I'm not pushing or poking buttons. I'm genuinely curious. And the king and the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and exalt him who rules over all, who was hidden. For from the beginning the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might, and revealed him to the elect. And the congregation of the elect and the holy shall be sown, and all the elect shall stand before him on that day. And all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who rule the earth shall fall down before him on their faces, and worship and set their hope on that Son of Man, and petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Nevertheless, that Lord of spirits will so press them that they shall heavily go out from his presence, and their faces shall be filled with shame, and the darkness grows deeper on their faces. And he will deliver them to the angels for punishment, to execute vengeance on them, because they have oppressed his children and his elect. And they shall be a spectacle for the righteous and for his elect. They shall rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Lord of spirits rests on them, and his sword is drunk with their blood. The righteous and elect shall be saved on that day, and they shall never again see the face of the sinners and unrighteous. And the Lord of spirits will abide over them, and they shall eat, lie down, and rise up with the Son of Man forever and ever. Revelation 21:3 says, now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. Some brutal stuff in this text. The righteous and elect shall have risen. The righteous and elect shall have risen from the earth and cease to be downcast, and they will have been clothed with garments of life. And these shall be the garments of life from the Lord of spirits. They shall not wear out, nor will your glory pass away from before the Lord of spirits. Chapter 63. In those days shall the mighty and the kings who possess the earth beg him to grant them a little respite from his angels of punishment to whom they were delivered, that they might fall down and worship before the Lord of spirits and confess their sins before him. Romans 14:11 says, for it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, every tongue shall confess to God. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Kat, we read that last night too. I'm sure you don't recognize it because of the terrible old English, but we did. Enoch now. And they shall bless and glorify the Lord of spirits and say, blessed is the Lord of spirits and the Lord of kings, and the Lord of the mighty and the Lord of the rich, and the Lord of glory and the Lord of wisdom. And every secret is revealed in front of you. Your power is from generation to generation, and your glory forever and ever. Deep and innumerable are all your secrets, and your righteousness is beyond reckoning. We have now learned that we should glorify and bless the Lord of kings, and him who is king over all kings. And they shall say, would that we had respite to glorify and give thanks and confess our faith before his glory. And now we long for a little respite, but find it not. We are driven away and obtain it not. And light has vanished from before us, and darkness is our dwelling place forever and ever. Because we have not believed in him, nor glorified the name of the Lord of spirits, but our hope was in the scepter of our kingdom, and in our own glory. In the day of our suffering and in tribulation, he does not save. and we find no respite for confession that the Lord is true in all his works, and in his judgments, and in his justice, and in his in his judgments, and his justice, and his judgments have no respect for persons. Romans 2:7-13. To them who by patience continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. But to them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that does evil, of the Jew first, but also the Gentile. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that works good, to the Jew first, but also the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with God. For as many have sinned without law shall also perish without law. And as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. Problematic verses for many Christians. David, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Well, Enoch, we pass away from before his face on account of our works, and all our sins are judged in righteousness. Are judged in comparison to righteousness. Sorry, he had an insertion there that my brain didn't click for a second. Now they shall say to themselves, our souls are full of unrighteous gain, but what we have gained does not prevent us from descending from the midst of our worldly gain into the torment or burden of hell or Sheol. And after that, their faces shall be filled with darkness and shame before the Son of Man, and they shall be driven from his presence, and the sword shall abide before his face, and the sword shall abide before his face in their midst. Thus spoke the Lord of spirits. This is the ordinance and judgment with respect to the mighty and the kings, and the exalted and those who possess the earth before the Lord of spirits. Weird chapter cut off. Chapter 64. In other forms I saw hidden in that place, I heard the voice of the angel saying, these are the angels who descended to the earth, and revealed what was hidden to the children of men, and seduced the children of men into committing sins. Jude 1:6 says, which has been brought up at least 3 times. Jude 1:6 says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. 65. And in those days Noah saw the earth that it had sunk down, and its destruction was near. And he arose from there and went to the ends of the earth, and cried aloud to his grandfather Enoch. And Noah said 3 times with an embittered voice, hear me, hear me, hear me. And I said to him, tell me what it is that is falling out on the earth, that the earth is in such evil plight and shaken, lest perchance I shall perish with it. And there was a great disturbance on the earth, and a voice was heard from heaven. And I fell on my face. And Enoch, my grandfather, came and stood by me, and said to me, why have you cried to me with a bitter cry and weeping? A command has gone out from the presence of the Lord concerning those who dwell on the earth, that their run is accomplished, because they have learned all the secrets of the angels, and all the violence of the Satans. And he's got an insertion that says deceivers or accusers. And then he's got a legit author's note that says there are many meanings of the word Satan, but all indicate great negativity. It can mean one who opposes, accuses, or deceives. In this case, there is some confusion as to who the Satans are. We are told the fallen angels taught men to war, but we are also told that it was the children of the angels that were so destructive. We are told that the angels taught men sorcery and spells, but it was the spirits of the Nephilim that went out from their bodies to destroy. Very interesting. I suppose it would be hard to kind of nail that down. Geoffrey said, I believe that the book of Revelation written by John is probably my most confident. I would be in authorship because of his seclusion of how long he lived. His proteges were all solid and confirmed. What makes you confident Revelation was specifically written by John? And just for my own clarity's sake, do you believe, like many others, that that is the same John as the Gospel John? And again, no judgment. I could care less what anybody believes. I just like to know what you believe. And thanks for that. Clarity is good. I think Atlantis existed in a time before we had oceans. I think oceans are a constant reminder that a global flood occurred. Man, I'm excited to go into some of that stuff. I think I'm just due for something beyond the monotony of the academic. So I'm very excited. So author's note about the Satans, unclear. Because there's so much evil in different contexts, it's hard contextually to directly understand what the Satans are. Due for and all their powers, the most secret ones, and all the powers of those who practice sorcery, and the power of witchcraft, and the power of those who make molten images for the whole earth, and how silver is produced from the dust of the earth, and how soft metal originates in the earth. For lead and tin are not produced from the earth, like the first. It is a fountain that produces them, and an angel stands in it, and that angel is preeminent. And after that, my grandfather Enoch took hold of me by my hand and lifted me up, and said to me, Go, for I have asked the Lord of spirits about this disturbance on the earth. And he said to me, Because of their unrighteousness, their judgment has been determined, and shall not be withheld by me forever, because of the sorceries which they have searched out and learned. The earth and those who dwell on it shall be destroyed. There is another author's note, which says, Flesh and blood will drown under the waters of the flood. All those who knew the fallen angels and all those who had given birth to their children would be ended. But the angels cannot die, and the spirits of the Nephilim do not need a body to survive. The text indicates the spirits need no food or water and go about unseen. Oh, I want to go down a hole, but I'm not going to. Go said fountain just means flowing liquid. It can apply to magma. Yeah, I guess, right? That's interesting, actually. So that was verse 8. For lead and tin are not produced from the earth like the first. It is a fountain that produces them. And Ghost is saying a fountain just means flowing liquid. So it could apply to magma. Huh. Keep that in mind the next time that term comes up. Verse 11. And from these they have no place of repentance forever, because they have shown them what was hidden, and they are damned. But as for you, my son, the Lord of spirits knows that you are pure and guiltless of this reproach concerning the secrets. And he has destined your name to be among the holy, and will preserve you among those who dwell on the earth, and has destined your righteous seed both for kingship and for great honor. And from your seed shall proceed a fountain of the righteous and holy without number forever. There's lots to take in here. Go said Enoch got to see the anatomy of the planet. At least this is my belief. Yeah, that's sure what it seems, right? It sure seems that way. I definitely get that. Honeymoon Steich? Shalom, shalom, my beloved brethren. What's going on? Oh, geez, I'm going to stay out of that one. Chapter 66. And after that, he showed me the angels of punishment who are prepared to come and let loose all the powers of the waters which are beneath in the earth, in order to bring judgment and destruction on all who dwell on the earth. 2 Kings 19:35 says, And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all no longer living corpses. Revelation 14:15 says, And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time has come for you to reap. For the harvest of the earth is ripe, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had a sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in your sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast into the great ripe winepress of the wrath of God. Cast into the great winepress of the wrath of God. Back in Enoch, it's verse 2. And the Lord of Spirits gave commandments to the angels who were going out, that they should not cause the waters to rise, but should hold them in check. For those angels were in charge of the forces of the waters. And I went away from the presence of Enoch. Chapter 67. Geoffrey said, You are aware that there are multiple books of Enoch. We sure are. The first one being from the Sethian line, and the next two being from the seed of Cain. Yes, I don't see, unless that was just a different comment, I don't see how that relates to what I asked. But if you're not responding to me, then just ignore me. Because then that makes perfect sense. Yeah, everybody, we talked about it when we started this book. I believe everybody here is aware of that. Leon, you're reading it wrong. There weren't any giants before the sons of God arrived. We've got a heated timeline debate going on, apparently. If only Hebrews use punctuation, truer words have never been said. It is quite problematic, yes. David, I love you. You're the man. Yeah, if you're wasting your time here with us this evening, have a do the YouTube stuff. It helps. Love you, David. 67. And in those days, the word of God came to me, and he said to me, Noah, your lot has come up before me, a lot without blame, a lot of love and righteousness. And now the angels are making a wooden structure, and when they have completed that task, I will place my hand on it and preserve it, or keep it safe. And there shall come out of it the seed of life, and change shall set in, so that the earth will not remain without inhabitants. And I will establish your seed before me forever and ever, and I will spread abroad those who dwell with you. And the face of the earth will be fruitful. They shall be blessed and multiply on the earth in the name of the Lord. And he will imprison those angels who have shown unrighteousness in that burning valley which my grandfather Enoch had formerly shown to me in the west among the mountains of gold and silver and iron and soft metal and tin. And I saw that valley in which there was a great earthquake and a tidal waves of the water. And when all this took place, from that fiery molten metal and from the convulsion thereof in that place, there was a smell of sulfur produced, and it was connected with those waters. And that valley of the angels who had led mankind astray burned beneath that ground. And there were streams of fire throughout the valley, where these angels are punished, who had led astray those who dwell on the earth. But those waters shall in those days serve for the kings and the mighty and the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth for the healing of the body, but for the punishment of the spirit. Their spirit is full of lust, that they will be punished in their body, for they have denied the Lord of spirits. They will see their punishment daily, and yet they believe not in his name. Tampa said, I could send you some links, Joe, but you will eventually find yourself hiding in the closet with the other Gnostic. LOL. I perpetually live in a state of basically that. So send away. Send away. I'm just interested in the Atlantis theory and everything that surrounds it. And I suppose how it pertains to Enoch and everything that surrounds Enoch. This is just a whole rabbit hole that I have never put my head into. And so I'm curious. And I listen to like 6 hours of stuff every day. And I can dedicate a little bit to something like this. I would like to have the background context as we read this. I should have done this sooner. I'm very curious. For whatever reason, it's piquing my interest now. There will be a relationship between the punishment and change. As their bodies burn, a change will take place in their spirit forever and ever. For before the Lord of spirits, none shall utter an idle word. For the judgment shall come on them, because they believe in the lust of their body and deny the Spirit of the Lord. 1 John 2:16 NIV. Babe girl, what's going on? What happened to the King James? For everything in the world, the cravings of sinful man, the lust of his eyes, and the boasting of what he has and does, comes not from the Father, but from the world. And the world passeth away. That is not a New International Version. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Okay, lies. Who is proofreading this stuff? Who is the editor? There are a total of 0 NIV translations that have words like doeth or passeth or abideth. This does not exist. And back to Enoch now. And the waters will change in those days, for when those angels are punished in these waters, the springs shall change. And when the angels ascend, this water of the springs shall change their temperature and become cold. And I heard Michael answering and saying, this judgment in which the angels are judged is a testimony for the kings and the mighty who possess the earth, because these waters of judgment minister to the healing of the body of the kings and the lust of their bodies. Therefore, they will not see and will not believe that those waters will change and become a fire which burns forever. And I have to start winding down and heading out here in a few. Everything is just an illusion and vapor to you, Ghost. I like that. Everything is an illusion and vapor to you, Ghost. There were giants in the day when the sons of God went into the daughters of men. Genesis 6:4. So says Leon, the tenacious. Ghost said the giants on earth in those days because of what happened with the sons of men, with the sons of God and the daughters of men. I guess I'm Solomon. Leon said giants on the earth when the sons of God went into the daughters of men. This is an argument I'm just going to stay out of. I'm going to start winding down. I got to go eat with the girls, but okay. But if you made it this far and you're watching a recording, join Discord. There's a link pinned to the top of the live chat. There's a link in the description of the video. It is free, but from Discord, you can look at the events page. We do 4 live streams a week currently. 3 of them are on the channel you're watching right now. 1 of them is on a different channel at Tattooed Theist. Every Tuesday on that channel, we do a topic discussion. So we do a poll in Discord. Whatever wins the poll is what we do a topic discussion on. Everything else is here on this channel. Right now, we're between the Book of Job on Sunday, the Book of Giants on Thursday, and the Gospel of Truth, which is a Valentinian Gnostic gospel, on Saturday. But we just finished that. So this coming Saturday, in just a few short days, we will be reading the Gospel of Thomas, which if there was ever one to not miss, it would be the Gospel of Thomas, which is why I'm saying if you don't watch it with us, because you can't on Saturday, read it yourself. If you've never read the Gospel of Thomas, it's insanely interesting. And because of we're all kind of collectively going down certain back alleys of Christianity, the Gospel of Thomas is a very important text to have. Just the 114 sayings of Jesus stowed away in the back of your head, because they come up a heck of a lot in other areas with the type of stuff that we look at, because we look at very non-conventional stuff. But join Discord, use the events page, and join us for some of the other ones. But Saturday is going to be good. Saturday will be the Gospel of Thomas, and then Sunday will be the Book of Job again, as we continue through that brutal text. Mikkel said, just as the Son of Man is the eternal heavenly mold or archetype for humans, likewise everything in the earthly realm, including giants, must have its own heavenly mold, in my opinion. I like the way you said that. That's very well said. That's a very interesting and good perspective, I think. Where's Humbaba? I love Mikkel. Doesn't matter. I feel like it does matter that it wasn't written in English, but that's just me. Good old patterns. The good old fractal nature of reality, to say the least. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Hopefully see everybody Sunday for the Gospel of Thomas, because I'm very excited, like a total loser nerd, to read that, because I really, really enjoy it. It's very good stuff. It'll make you literally gasp at certain points and be like, what the hell did I just read? It's incredible. It is the chef's kiss of ancient documents. So good. So good. So Saturday at 7 p.m. Gospel of Thomas. I love y'all very, very much. And we'll go out with this. You get the best quality Gnosis in the back streets. The dark alley is where it's at. And with that, I wish you all a lovely evening. Love you guys. Have a good night.